Hey guys, Big John here in Anchorage, Alaska. I'm one of the many Alaskan carnivores that struggle a little bit from time to time. And today I wanted to actually reach out to a fellow carnivore that's struggling in the community. His name's Carnivore Kip, and he's had a hard time with a lot of things. And I wanted to basically just reach out and say, hey, we're here, dude. You can reach out to any one of us at any given time throughout this process. There's not a single one of us that are doing the carnivore diet or any type of specific eating strategies or fasting strategies without problems or other issues. We're all in this together. And he did make us this recent upload about how he's not going to be posting any more carnivore videos until he has some dramatic success. Now, I'm a person that talks about the embarrassing moments and stuff like that because this is a struggle. This is a journey. And I just want to say to him, hey, man, keep uploading. Don't abandon your followers. Don't abandon your YouTube channel for any length of time. I know it's hard. It's really hard, especially when we're dealing with living in a household with other people that aren't doing carnivore, that don't want to do carnivore, that aren't eating carnivore type ways. My pantry's a freaking mess, by the way. I mean, if I go into my pantry, I have tons of temptations. There's Cheez-Its. That's one of my favorite things. I like to eat Cheez-Its. There's a lot of other things. And I just recently had a birthday. So do you think I was 100% carnivore on my birthday? Well, I'm just going to put it out there right now. No, I wasn't. And that's not the point of all of this and all of our successes, is that we just tend to try not to jump on and off the rails. And we just try to support one another no matter what we're doing on the carnivore type plane. And I don't care if, carnivore kits or if you decide to go completely keto or, do KetoVore. I did a 90-10 eating principle for an extremely long time, and that worked out really well. So that was 90% carnivore type eating, 10% I didn't care whatever I ate. And I had tremendous success because that 10% allowed me an out. It allowed my brain enough room to associate other foods as potential options, besides meats or fats. And the reason I became more strict with carnivore in the last month or so is because I wanted to see, all right, are there more benefits to just eating only meats and fats? And I believe there is. Is it something that I'm going to want to continue to do, for the rest of my life? That's debatable. And that's the whole point of this weight loss journey, carnivore type journey, because the carnivore diet in itself is an elimination diet. You're literally taking away all of the stuff that made us addicted to sugars and stuff like that. Because if I were to add sugars in right now, it would automatically, trigger a natural response to want to add more sugars, more carbohydrates, more foods or bites of this and that tend to turn into a snowball of epic proportions. And then there's no way that we can really control it because we're addicted. We're addicted similar to a drug addict to certain foods. We binge eat. We're morbidly obese guys. I'm still not a small guy, by the way. I started out at 435 pounds, and now I think I'm down to about 305 pounds again. And I've been going back and forth. I've been having natural plateaus, and it's just crazy. I do want to say hi to Hustle and TK9. Carnivore diet almost killed my father. Thankfully, he pulled through and only lost his leg. Well, I think there's some other underlying issues besides the carnivore diet when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, everybody has their own personal situation and their own personal opinion on any type of extreme type diet. But the reason I chose the carnivore diet is because it does eliminate a lot of the problems for me, and it does for other people. But most importantly, even beyond the carnivore diet itself, fasting is what taught me, how to control my urges, how to control my weights, because Kip's main question today in his video was, how do the rest of us do it? How do the rest of us, maintain a certain level of perfection? And honestly, I don't think anybody out there maintains a certain level of perfection. They just portray that in their videos. They portray that because there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. We all have family events. We all have family gatherings. Some people are naturally more strict than others. I just went to a neurology appointment yesterday, and that doctor there was, we had to do some more blood work. because I haven't gotten the results back yet. But I want to see, because apparently I have neuropathy in my feet, which was an underlying condition of being morbidly obese and incredibly out of shape and incredibly sugar and carb addicted. And when we add in all these extra sugars and stuff, and then we automatically take them all away, and then we have dramatic weight loss like myself, it shows all these other issues. It shows digestion issues. It shows, mental clarity type issues that we didn't even know we had before we started eliminating. And it doesn't matter if you're doing the carnivore diet or vegan diet or vegetarian or intermittent fasting or other fasting. You're doing a process of elimination, and that's how we get healthy in the first place. It's trying to just eliminate certain things, and then over time we slowly start adding things back in. And that's basically where I'm at right now. I've eliminated X, Y, and Z for an extended period of time, only eating meats and fats for an extended period of time, and then I slowly start adding in a little bit of this and that. And that's exactly how we figure out our personal health, our personal goals, our personal gains. And it doesn't mean you have to be 100% carnivore for the rest of your life. I mean, it doesn't have to be a bulletproof solution, to everybody's weight loss. Now, what you just said you are, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, extreme diets. I'm trying to read what you got going on here, T9. I weigh 122 pounds at the age of 27, and I am 6 foot tall. Can you pass me some weight? Well, actually, I know exactly how to become morbidly obese, and that's eat a lot of pizza, eat a lot of pasta, eat a lot of just crap food, just a lot of sugars and energy drinks, and go out to Starbucks or whatever coffee shops you have available. Yeah, you can totally gain some weight, but it's not going to be gaining the right weight, not the really healthy type of weight that you're looking for, because anybody can get fat. I mean, it's really not that hard. I mean, I'm a lazy guy. I drive a truck. I don't get motivated to go outside and exercise very often. So I had to learn how to lose weight with the process of fasting. And then I had to figure out eating principles on top of that and learn how to read ingredient labels and understand what the hell am I reading, because on the back of these packages, it's just a bunch of nonsense. But I mean, ever since, I watched Carnivore Kip's video earlier today, and I was just blown away. I was like, wow, really? Now, like I said, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes. We don't know exactly what his situation is. I don't know the guy personally. I have had communication with him through emails, and everything has been pretty good from there. We've only contacted like once or twice, and that's about it. But my thing is he's having a hard time. And just like myself, when I was having a hard time, I turned to the community. The community reached out to me in about 20 different ways till Sunday. And I just slowly figured out, how to deal with my own personal situation, because I was suffering from all kinds of digestive issues, because I was poisoning myself, for a good 15, 20 years of just eating crap, eating the crap food, eating at McDonald's, thinking that, I was doing good by what I was eating when I was actually doing the exact opposite. And that's how a lot of us get into trouble. And of course, yeah, my weight was going up and down, but it was always going back up. Didn't matter if it would go down dramatically. It would never stay there. I didn't know how to keep it there. It was absolutely crazy how it was just a roller coaster of gain weight, lose weight, and then not know why we lost the weight and not know why exactly we're gaining the weight except for food intake or being lazy, because we were taught to go out and run. We were taught to eat vegetables. We were taught to do a whole bunch of things that didn't explain how to lose weight, didn't explain the process of why certain things happen when they happen and why the weight loss comes off at certain times and it doesn't come off at other times. I mean, you can actually lose weight and be incredibly lazy. I got a whole playlist that explains this. I mean, I lost over 130 pounds with little to no exercise. So it's possible. It didn't really require that much effort. It just required a lot of education and understanding to get to where I needed to be. And I'm just doing the carnivore diet for myself because I can eat tons of meats and fats. And I'm Alaskan native, so we don't have a whole lot of vegetables, like natural vegetables here. So we just can't really get into the whole vegan type lifestyle. It's just not sustainable for us up here. The ones that are 100% vegan that live up here in Alaska, they are extremely wealthy. They got really good jobs. They got a different network of their own going on. And they figured out their own routine, and God bless them. I appreciate them. They're still people. They're looking to have a better life, and they're also on a mission to not kill animals. I get that. That's their thing. But we like to hunt, we like to fish, we like to eat the animals that we harvest, and this is just how my family lives, and this is how my entire native population here in Alaska has lived for hundreds of years. We go out, we kill animals, we eat a lot of fatty meats, we use every part of the animal that we can, and that's how we maintain our life up here in Alaska. And the healthy type options that we have available here in town really aren't as healthy as a lot would think, because they get shipped up on a boat. They usually come out of places like Mexico. Seriously, we get products from all over the world here in Alaska. It's just amazing where we get stuff from. Our low-lying berries like blueberries, raspberries, salmon berries, and stuff like that, I can still eat that stuff. And I figured that out through eliminating them for a while and then slowly adding certain types of fruits back into my diet, certain types of light type of vegetables that don't affect my digestive system. They don't make me crave certain foods and just want to go out and just hammer out a bunch of crap food like cakes and cookies and nonsense stuff that we buy at the convenience stores or the center aisles. Get a job. I need to get a job. Yeah, actually, I have a job. This is one of them, by the way. I have spoken with pathologists on this matter. This is my last warning. Do not eat carnivore if you are a high-risk individual. Well, absolutely there, TK9, that just said that. You really have to consider your own personal health and where you're at. Now, the carnivore diet is not for everybody. I don't think it is. I don't promote it like it is. But I do get a lot of benefits from the carnivore diet because it really narrows down the whole process of trying to figure out myself, what's going on. It's very hard for me to overeat fats. It's very hard for me to gain weight on the carnivore diet. So literally what I'm doing is just removing all the bull crap for a period of time. And then I'm learning about seed oils and stuff like that, inflammation. I used to have a chronic cough, by the way, and I got to thinking about this, and I was like, man, I wonder if sugar causes chronic coughing. The coughing that we hear all the youngsters making when they're on their way to school. They're just like, they're always having that little cough. And yeah, lo and behold, I looked it up today. And sugar, high fructose corn syrup, creates inflammation in the lungs, and it creates children to have this weird chronic cough that never seems to go away. And most parents are just throwing the cough syrup at the kids and sending them out to school anyways. And since we had the pandemic, I mean, that was crazy. Anybody that had a cough, sneeze, or a sniffle, which is perfectly normal, was forced to wear a mask or forced to be isolated for a period of time. So if you have a ton of children, even adults that are highly addicted to sugars and carbs, you could develop that same chronic cough. Crazy. I mean, weird stuff, by the way. Let's see there. John says, hi there, Mike LT. I've been singing your phrase today on Twitter. He's got 100K followers, blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure. Eyeballs to you. Let's see. Hippity hoppity yippity yap. Right on. So let's see. Anybody in here that we know today? I don't see anybody. I normally get a lot of people that I know. And today we're getting a lot of other people I don't know. So I'm going to go back up through some of the comments here. But I think the main issue here, around Carnivore Kip's situation is that, he's still a pretty heavy guy. It's hard to control our emotions at times, especially when we're morbidly obese, because when you're obese, you become hormonal. You get brought down pretty quick. And there's a lot of people out there, they just constantly badgering and saying, oh, what you're doing is not healthy. It's not a good diet. You shouldn't do that. Well, if it wasn't a good diet, then why would doctors recommend it for cancer patients? I mean, I don't know, because maybe it's a good diet after all, but it's a good diet for certain situations and certain things. Now, there's a number of people that have been doing the carnivore diet, and they have successfully been able to control their diabetes. Some of them have actually reversed their diabetes. Does it mean it's actually cured? It's probably still there. I mean, especially if they were to go, reverse the latter and get off the carnivore type diet. All of those situations where their diabetes would flare up would come back, and that would come back naturally. Hello there, Donna. I appreciate you jumping in. I am off diabetes med. That's Donna Couture. I mean, she's just one of the many carnivores out here that have had dramatic improvement. And Carnivore Kip, he's done pretty good. I mean, I've been slowly trying to get into his journey and figure out what he's got going on, so I got a better understanding of where he's at. But I think he's making a mistake by making these rash announcements, saying that he's not going to promote himself, he's not going to talk about the carnivore diet or any of the benefits he's been able to find, even though he is back and forth, and that's natural. I mean, this is a weight loss journey. We all have to like kind of have a community hug here and just figure out Carnivore Kip's situation, because it's not easy. He deals with all kinds of stuff with people in the comments saying that something bad or this or that, and that hurts his feelings. You can tell it. He's pretty sincere about that stuff. I get people all the time that come in these live streams and just say yada yada yada, but I don't care about that. I mean, I'm glad you guys showed up. I'm glad you guys watched. It's great. Is that going to change my opinion on how I'm handling my own personal life and I'm actually finding tremendous benefits and sharing it online? No, it's not. You can say whatever you want. People come in here all the time and pick on me. I'm okay with being picked on. I'm a big guy. That's why my channel's called Big Man Alaska. Go figure. Plus, I live in Alaska. That makes it relevant. But yeah, I was just watching, Carnivore Kip's video, and I was just pacing back and forth. Somebody actually sent me this video, his video, in a message, and I was like, and I saw it first thing this morning when I got up, and I looked at it, and I kind of rolled my eyes for a second because I knew I had a good feeling of what he was going to be talking about in today's video. And before he went on his cruise with his wife, we all knew he was going to go off the rails a little bit. I mean, what would I do in that situation? Would I live it up? Would I kick back and let my hair down, like he said? Absolutely. I'd have a pretty good time. If there were some new food options that I wasn't, aware of exactly what was in there, but even if it was on the plane of a carnivore diet, they can be contaminated with, seed oils and vegetable oils and stuff like that. So even on a cruise, you can have issues even trying to be on a carnivore diet. So if you're not at home preparing your own food and know exactly what you're getting into, it's still hard to stay away from all the sugars, the nonsense, the carnivore type foods. So you just do the best you can with what you got. But now he's on a cruise. I get it. You're on a cruise. You're supposed to be having fun. Birthdays, supposed to be fun. The holidays, they're supposed to be fun. Be as strict as you want on your carnivore diet. But when you're having a good time, don't beat yourself up about the little details like, oh no, it's my birthday, I'm going to have a piece of cake. Oh no, it's my birthday, I'm going to have a cookie. Well, guess what? Your birthday is one day of the year. The next day, go back to your meats, go back to your fat, eat some bacon, have some ham, enjoy some chicken wings. And just pay attention. Just don't fall off the wagon. Don't stop posting your videos, Carnivore Kip. That's my biggest thing. Keep posting your videos. And my recommendation to him before he went on his cruise was just stack up a couple videos. They don't even have to be good videos. They could be like little vertical live stream clips. You can just interact with your audience from there. And that's really all you have to do when you're on YouTube, because YouTube does not like it when we take breaks, because it usually throws our views down in the trash can, and it's really hard to recover from that. They also don't like it when we post other topics that are off the rail type topics. Like, I live in Alaska, so I got a lot to do. I got a lot to talk about. I mean, not just the carnivore diet, even though that is the main purpose of my channel, but I also live in Alaska. There's a ton of scenery here. There's a ton of stuff to do, and it's not going to be 100% carnivore related. So I might show you guys videos of my neighborhoods. I might take you on little tours up hillside. I'll show you some of the bad weather and stuff like that. Maybe I'll take you guys on a shopping trip sometime soon so I can show you the Alaska prices. And that's something I used to enjoy doing. It doesn't all have to be carnivore all the time. It doesn't all have to be health, nutrition, and weight loss. Just get out and do stuff. Have fun with yourself. Let's see. No need, John. I'm doing very well. I have reversed my neuropathy in my legs. Congratulations, Donna. That's awesome. I sleep better, more emotionally adjusted. Yeah, the emotions on the carnivore diet come naturally. You get a lot less emotions the further you get into it. But the fasting is what really got me to control my urges to eat crap food and unhealthy. And that was one of his questions today. Carnivore Kip had a question. He's like, so what do you guys do to stay on track? What can you do, to hopefully, get over these hurdles of cravings, addictions, and nonsense. And that 90% of it was fasting practices. If I were to give Carnivore Kip advice that he might actually listen to, I'd be like, dude, you gotta fast. When you're overweight, super morbidly obese, you're swollen, you're inflamed, you're packing on a lot of extra pounds just from visceral fat and stuff like that. You can live off that visceral fat for 5 days. You don't need anything besides electrolytes and some vitamins. And that's it. That's all we need. That's how I got started. I mean, I lost 30 pounds that way. And I could lose, if I did another 5 day water fast, yeah, I could lose another 7 to 8 pounds, because I'm just getting rid of the water weight for the most part. That's something I did find out at my neurology appointment is I do have a little bit of edema going on still. And that appointment was a freaking disaster, by the way. I had no idea what they were going to do to me. I knew they were going to give me these little electric impulses, but I felt like it was very draconian. And I was like stuck in a mental institution where they were hooking up these probes to my legs and they were just zapping me with electricity. No different than if I were to reach out to a wall outlet and shove a fork in there. That's kind of what it felt like. And I had to do this on both legs several times. And I had no idea that these nerves, the nerves in your legs, they retain the memory of being recently shocked. So I went through an entire night's sleep of constant like little twitches in my legs. I was like, what the heck? My feet were hurting wherever they put the probe. So I was feeling that pain after the appointment, like well after the appointment, like 6-7 hours after the appointment. And it was a long appointment to try to figure out where the nerve damage was in my legs. And that nerve damage came from, probably being morbidly obese. But I was trying to remember back how far my neuropathy symptoms were affecting me. And it was over 20 years. 20 years ago is when my neuropathy first started, maybe more, maybe longer than that, because I got really high arches. I got hammer toe. I got a lot of issues going on with my feet. So that kind of kept me off my feet or wanting to be on my feet, because my hammer toe, if you don't know what that is, it's like one toe that just kicks up higher than the other. So it's always wearing on my shoe. It would wear holes in my shoe. So I went through a lot of expensive sneakers. I went through a lot of socks. I mean, it sucked. And then I had to buy all kinds of different size arch supports, for whatever occasion, depending on how my feet were swollen or not swollen or what type of work or walking I was doing. So I put a lot of investment into my feet. And then when I got morbidly obese, it all got worse. My feet got in horrible situation. You get stuff like toenail fungus because you can't get down there. You can't bend over to like take care of your toes. You can't take care of your feet properly. And after a period of time, you just become lazy, become fat and lazy. It's like, man, it's nuts. All right, let's see. That's fine, TK. Do whatever you want to do for you. Absolutely, TK. If you got something figured out for yourself, that's awesome. Get out here on YouTube, talk about it. We can bat this back and forth all day long. I mean, if you're 100% against the carnivore diet, God bless you, and find what works for you. I'm not coming out here and suggesting to you like, hey, you need to do the carnivore diet because of this or that. I'm telling people my experience with the carnivore diet, and that's where I come from. Because if I can have benefits with weight loss, if I can have benefits with fasting, and I can find it somewhat easy to explain, absolutely, I'm going to get out here and I'm going to share that with people. That's the whole point of the internet, dude, is we get out here and we share from our experiences. And some of us are more interesting than others. And obviously I'm entertaining you quite well because you're still hanging in there like a champ. And I appreciate you, by the way. Let's see. How much have you lost with the carnivore diet? So I'm thinking approximately 30 pounds, 30, 35 pounds. Now that weight goes back and forth as my body heals. So like I lost a lot of weight and then all of a sudden I gained it back because I had a bright idea that I was going to quit smoking and then quit nicotine altogether. So I gave up all nicotine for a period of time, and that threw me off the rails of carnivore. And this is kind of valid to the whole topic of carnivore kip going on and off the rails, because at times we just do stuff. We think we're doing the right thing. And I'm a person that gets out here. I talk a lot about health and stuff, and I still use stuff like this just to get me through the humps and hopefully make my day a little bit more manageable for the others around me. And that's just a vaping product. Now I could use other products like Zen pouches and stuff like that, which will kill the urge to want to go smoke a cigarette. I have been completely cigarette free, since I made those videos where everything got all whacked out and off the rails. I mean, I don't want cigarettes anymore. I don't crave them. I do crave a little bit of nicotine. And nicotine by itself isn't the worst thing in the world. We get nicotine from a whole bunch of different places. Nicotine hides out in just about any seed you can think of. Let's see, pepper is a great place for nicotine to be. Hot peppers is another place where they extract the nicotine for these vapes, just so they're not using a tobacco product. They're not using a tobacco plant to get the nicotine for this vape juice. But it's just stuff you learn as you go, and it's stuff you learn as you grow. Let's see, TK9 here. I'm not sure what that's about. All right, let's see. Like we said, TK, do what you want to do. I love meat and veggies. I don't know. So you give up veggies altogether. Now, there's a lot of carnivores out there that do a little bit of both. They do a little bit of vegetables. They do a little bit. But they do a lot more fats and proteins. And then you just mix in some vegetables as needed. And they also mix in fruits from time to time. You know, and I found out, because my problem is I'm a binge eater. I will eat like a gluttonous pig. And that's been a problem for quite some time. And it started when I was in the military, or just before I was getting out of the military. So I was constantly wanting to eat food, no matter what, because when you're in the military and they send you away to these places and you're stuck out in the middle of the woods for, 30 days, you don't know when your next meal is going to be at times. So when it was time to eat, we learned to eat really fast. I mean, it was just, we're just throwing the food in. And that became a habit. I can't blame it all on the military because it's, a thought process again. Because at that time, I was worried about when we were going to get our next calories, because there's nothing worse than being out for 3, 4, 5 days in the field, and you're doing extensive exercises and stuff, and you're moving stuff and doing duties, and you don't know when your next meal's going to be, and you didn't eat enough before you left. So yeah, it was always something we worried about. That and water. If we didn't have enough water, we didn't know, what was going to happen or what we were going to do. Google onions and oxalates. I have not done that yet. Do onions carry a lot of oxalates? Don, I'm pretty sure you understand. Lectins are different from oxalates. Let's see. If you want to know what plants have them, I should probably do a simple Google search and see what, because I do allow certain type vegetables. Onions has been one of them, but I'm not like eating an entire onion. I use a little bit I'll slice up half an onion and I'll put it up like in some pot roast or something like that for a little bit of flavor. But I'm not necessarily eating the onions when I'm navigating, through those type of dishes. Let's see. Okay, thank you so much. Inflammation can potentially cause. Inflammation can potentially cause cancer. I got to disagree with that as a general statement. I don't believe that is a false statement. Insanity. A lot of the cancers that are out there now is direct result of inflammation. If we were to eat a lot of less inflammatory type foods, our cancer rates would dramatically drop. If we would get rid of the seed oils, the vegetable oils, and stuff like that, that's where the underlying problem is. The high fructose corn syrup. The body doesn't know what to do with stuff like that. It doesn't know how to process the seed oils. So where does it go? It doesn't know. The body is just trying to figure out how to get it out of your system. And some of those things just stick around, because it's just like the prescription drugs that most people are prescribed. They're taking them for one symptom, but it's causing a lot of other stuff to happen in the body. And all of those pills have to leave our body, and some of them don't leave our body. They're permanently stuck in us. But they got to go through all the filter organs to get out. So we got the pancreas, we got the intestines, we got the stomach, we got everything you could think of for that prescription med to get into our body and out of our body. And then sometimes it just gets stuck in places like the liver or the kidneys, and the body doesn't know what to do with it. So then it causes problems. And some of these pills are probably causing a lot of the cancers we have today. But I don't know. I mean, it's just one of those things. We got to keep in mind what we're putting in ourselves, and especially when it comes to pills, because just because it's helping us with one thing doesn't mean it's not causing us 20 different other problems. And food is the same way. We got to focus on our food. Just eat antioxidants. That's not a great idea either. You need to eat a little bit of this or that, in my opinion. Why are your Christmas lights still up? My Christmas lights are always up because we kind of use them as a night light here. Right now, the sun is going down. It comes up pretty early here in Anchorage, and it goes down, I think, around 9:30, 10 o'clock right now. But after that time, it's nice to have a little bit of ambient light in the home. That way when our, walking around, because I live in an old 1975 trailer home, and it's kind of cluttered up. We got stuff everywhere. We live here. So we have limited places to put stuff. So it's nice to see where you're walking so you're not tripping over your animals or potentially some shoes or jackets or whatever falls on the floor in the middle of the night, because we have cats and these cats like to make a mess. Information in cancer. Exactly. Americans are freaking out because the American diet is so trash. Then they come up with stuff like this. Come up with stuff like what exactly? Because you got to get away from the standard American diet doing something, TK9. Now, you can do an omnivore type diet. I'm not against vegetables, by the way. I'm not an advocate of vegetables are bad. Vegetables are going to kill you. But I am an advocate about what specific vegetables do to me, because spinach gives me kidney stones. Nuts give me kidney stones. There's a lot of vegetables out there and nuts and fruits that I can't eat. Now, if I eat lettuce, I get sugar cravings. Who would have thought lettuce? I mean, out of all things. I mean, my regulars are probably getting tired of me talking about how lettuce triggers sugar addiction. And I never noticed that. And it's just something that we usually have on top of a burger. Or, in a salad, obviously. A lot of salads are made out of lettuce or spinach. It's made out of leafy greens. And a lot of those leafy greens were causing me kidney stones. Kidney stones suck, by the way. So getting rid of those leafy greens is a pretty good idea. I have been known to be able to stomach carrots. I can eat some carrots. I can eat cabbage. Cabbage does not do the same thing lettuce does. So if I have some cabbage, or what in the world are you doing, man? USA, USA, USA. That's a lot of USA there. Okay. Yeah, Donna, can you? Yeah, I don't know why. I appreciate it when they spam the page for a little while. We'll allow it for a little bit, and then we'll get rid of that. bunch of nonsense. But all right, you start with eliminating everything but meat, butter, eggs. Then you start to add back veggies and see how that goes. That's exactly how the carnivore diet works. That's how it should work, by the way. Any type of elimination diet, even keto type diets, we need to have a process of elimination. And then we need to start adding in things, even fasting. If you're fasting and you're doing extended fasting, up to anything over 34 hours, I believe, is considered an extended fast. It might be 36 hours. Don't quote me on that. But a 36-hour fast is a pretty decent fast. And you can do that sustainably every other day and be just fine. You can have weight loss, tremendous weight loss value with that. And then you're eating every other day. And it's pretty nice. So if you do a 36-hour rotating type fast or every other day fast, you started at like 6 o'clock with your last meal. And then you just go on, skip an entire day, and wake up. You can have breakfast on the opposing day, on the other side of your fasting day. And it's really not that bad. I mean, you can have 3 meals for that day, reasonable meals, and then you do another 36 fast. You can do that for months. I know people that have been doing it for months with tremendous benefits. They've been doing it on the carnivore diet. They've been doing it on keto, even vegetable type diets. 36-hour fasting really does do what it says. It works. It works for weight loss. It also works for controlling food cravings. And I believe a carnivore Kip would actually get on board with some fasting, some actual hardcore fasting. Do his research, come up with a good plan, because fasting does not work just by not eating. Fasting works by getting the mind prepared. If you prepare your brain for the fast, like, hey, I'm going to start on such and such a day. This is my last meal. And there's a lot of preparation I have to do before I can start an extended fast of 36 hours or even a 5-day water fast. I have to really prepare my whole situation for a 5-day water fast, because the things that'll mess us up every single time when we do these extended fasts is having food in the fridge that we're going to want to eat, but it's going to go bad throughout the fast. So that tends to screw us up. I mean, it screws us up here. It makes us want to break our fast. And so we can just eat the food, and then we'll consider restarting the fast at a later date. So always go through your fridge, figure out which foods you want to have either put away in a better way, stored, or prepared before the fast even starts. That way you're having a lot less distractions to get through something like a 5-day water fast. And it doesn't matter what type of diet you're doing. Anybody can do a 5-day water fast as long as you're healthy enough to do so. So always contact your doctor and physician and your healthcare group if you have one to figure out if you're healthy enough to do an extended fast. I have very limited sugar cravings on the carnivore diet. And I was talking about this with some other carnivores here the other day because they were talking about how we need to eliminate the sauce. And I don't believe when people are starting the carnivore diet, I don't believe it's a good idea to advise them to just completely eliminate the sauce. It doesn't matter if you're doing it on the other flip side. So if you're going to a vegetable type or vegan type diet, if you're trying to get more vegetables, let's say, and with carnivore you're trying to get more meat, I think the natural transition would be to add your sauces for a period of time and then slowly start pulling back, because over time on either side of the coin, vegetable or meat based, you're going to be more likely to start reducing it and you're going to start liking the flavor of the foods you're eating. I don't care too much for the flavor of most vegetables, and that's why there's always a ranch dip cup in the middle of those vegetable platters, because most people don't enjoy eating the cauliflower just straight or the broccoli just straight, or even the carrots. They like to put a little bit of ranch on there, and that wrecks whatever nutritional value it has. And that's how we screw up the carnivore diet too, is I can do that. I can screw it up by adding barbecue sauce or adding ketchup, or so we got to pay attention to the ingredients in our sauces, no matter which way you go. Let's see, that's cool. Sharpie Fred, let's see, I'm probably missing some pretty good stuff here. This has been a pretty good little chat we got going on here, but I'm interested in the diets that exist and see the transformations at the cause. All right. Shaping Fred, that's why I follow the big man. Well, I appreciate you following me there, Shaping Fred. But yeah, there is a lot of benefits, and I don't believe, and this is just my opinion on the carnivore diet, because the carnivore diet works well for a lot of different, there's millions of people doing it, millions and millions, maybe 1 billion people are doing it. There were millions before the whole talk of the carnivore diet was even a thing. They were already doing it. There's entire cultures that were doing it. They were adding in very limited amount of vegetables and fruits, limited amount. They were eating 90% meats and fats, proteins. That's why I like that. I like that part of my journey, my weight loss journey, when I was eating 90% meats and fats and I had 10%, I loved my life, because I really did. I enjoyed it that way. I enjoyed doing carnivore that way. But then we succumb to the masses around the carnivore community. And then we succumb to the cranky little vegans that come in and they want to point out every little fact, saying stupid stuff like, oh, you added pepper, that's not carnivore. Or you ate a banana, that's not carnivore. Or you added, onions to your meal, or you ate a pickle. It's like, grow up. It's like, seriously, we're not old enough now to figure out that talking to people like that is just counterproductive. And I think that's where a lot of the vegan haters kind of jump into these things, the vegans that hate the carnivore diet, because they're just so politically driven by no meats, no animal products of any kind. They'll buy oil-based products to wear as clothing. That's not helping. that's an oxymoron. That's not helping anything at all. Technically, they're not, killing animals to make their shoes, but how many animals died in the process of producing that oil? How many animals died in the process of making your clothing? Because you got to kill animals to sustain your vegetables. That's how that works. You got to kill a lot of bugs to sustain your crops. It's just how that works. It's a natural evolution of how things work in the world. It's just like animals. We got to protect our animals that we're going to consume by killing off the other animals that come in to kill the animals that we want to consume. So it's just an evolution of nonsense. Well, okay, that's nice to hear. I said you bring open mind, it takes places, and you can look at different perspectives. I love to share because I've done so many different diets, and I get really strict on my routines. And then since I started doing YouTube, I just come out here and honestly just give it out. Like, hey, all right, I got constipated when I ate this or that, or I had a hard time pooping when I started carnivore. And a lot of us do. And there's a lot of fear mongers out there that don't want you doing the carnivore diet. And I think they just get off on the idea that they can say stuff like that, because when you're morbidly obese and struggling and you're looking for answers, I get a lot of my advice from the community, by the way, but I have trusted people now in my community that I know that when they're talking to me, they're talking to me from the heart. They're going to give me the best advice, from their perspective. It doesn't mean I have to listen to them. It doesn't mean I have to follow what their advice is, but I consider it. And so I get a lot of questionable advice all the time. And I look into it. I'm like, okay, you said you did it this way or that way. I'll take a look at that. I'll see if I can find any data or, anybody else has been doing stuff similar to that. Maybe I can wrap my head around some new ideas and try something new. And throughout this entire weight loss journey, and I think we're on week 50 of my weight loss journey, I have been trying to learn something new about health, nutrition, and it doesn't have to be all meats and fats, by the way. I don't stick strictly to just learning about just meats and fats. I try to learn a little bit about Hashimoto's. I knew nothing about Hashimoto's before I started any of this. I knew nothing. I knew about MS, muscular dystrophy, thyroid issues, and stuff like that. And there's also a difference between how things work between men and women, because women have different issues than men. But when you're a man that's morbidly obese, you have hormonal issues just like a woman. And it's a mess. I mean, that's what makes us cranky and upset all the time. So we have a lot of problems, even as men. Our testosterone just drops when we become morbidly obese. We're less likely to want to engage in sexual activities. For starters, it's somewhat uncomfortable for most of us. It's not nearly as much fun as when we were younger and in shape. So we have to kind of, watch what we're doing. And I did find out that doing egg fast, so doing like a 5-day egg fast where I ate nothing but eggs, I mean, that ramps up the testosterone without having to get online and order these silly testosterone boosting pills. I mean, I'm not sure. I haven't done the research on these pills and what they have in them. But if I were to guess, it'd probably be a lot of components that are around the egg in the first place. So like a regular chicken egg, turkey egg, duck eggs, quail eggs, any type of eggs will help increase my testosterone to a healthy, normal level to where I want to get out, I want to work. I actually enjoy lifting weights when I'm doing like egg fasts and stuff like that. So there's a benefit there, because a lot of us, we're just lazy. We don't want to do anything. We want to sit around, play on our phones, be on the computer all day. Let's see. Eating only eggs help lose weight. Fast too. Absolutely, Ray. I lost a lot of weight on an egg fast. I did one egg fast a while back in my weight loss journey. I think I lost 14 pounds with the first egg fast, but I was only eating 3 hard-boiled eggs per meal. And then I did another egg fast where I was eating sardines and eggs. I did lose about 7 to 10 pounds on that one. And then I did some more research. You got to get the cogs turning up here, guys. You got to do some research. So I went and did some research on the egg fast and other people that were doing the egg fast. And then I realized I could eat as many eggs as I want doing the egg fast. And so I wanted to give that a try. So I did another 5-day egg fast where I was eating anywhere from 8 to 20 eggs per day. I think if you get over, 20 something odd eggs, you actually get into the positive calorie intake. So I was keeping it just under, for the average egg, just under 2,000 calories per day, keeping me in a calorie deficit, but I was getting all the nutrition and health from the eggs throughout the week. My testosterone levels were right on. I was happy with that. I felt fantastic while doing it. And if we were to go back to our previous teachings about eggs and cholesterol and LDL and all the nonsense that goes along with that, that would be a really unhealthy diet. I mean, and it would be. If I ate all the crap food on the center aisles and I ate junk food and I went out to eat at fast food, that would be setting me up for potential heart attack. Just like if you were to eat a lot of eggs and a lot of bacon, and then you're eating overly processed foods, a lot of high fructose corn syrup, and a lot of sugary products, yeah, you're setting yourself up for a heart attack. That's how you get heart attacks to happen. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure this stuff out. You just need to pay attention to some key factors and ignore a lot of the static that's out there, because most people right now, they're eating so much garbage. They can't even comprehend what I'm saying right now. They just, whatever, this guy's an idiot. He's just a fat man on the internet, doesn't know what he's talking about. I've only been doing this for 50 weeks now, and I just talk from my experience. Totally feel the difference. Da 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 da. Ray, let's see. Even just drinking only water helps a lot with the food. With the food change, yeah. Water was before I even started like fasting. I was going through a really really hard breakup, and we've all been through emotional roller coasters with breakups and stuff. But one of the times that I went for couples, maybe several weeks, I didn't eat any food. All I drank was water. I wasn't taking vitamins. I wasn't taking anything else. I was just drinking water. I was losing weight. I didn't care. I mean, I was upset. I was emotionally broken at the time. Um, but yeah, that's how I got through most of my days. Is every time I got hungry, I grabbed a bottle of water and I chugged it down. And then when I got hungry again in 5 more minutes, I drank some more water. My skin looked amazing, by the way, because I was super hydrated, but I was unhealthy. Now you can lose weight and be completely unhealthy. I know a lot of fit people, they can be fit, but they're also unhealthy metabolically. So there's that give and take, because some people are, they might look good at the gym, they might look good walking down the street or at the nightclub, but they're not healthy individuals because of what they're putting in their body. Just because you're small and look all right doesn't mean you're healthy. It means you could have a lot of other problems, stemming from sugar and alcohol and stuff like that. It's crazy, the amount of stuff that we poison ourselves with. And we do it under the guise of, oh, that's no big deal. I'm just going to go to the gym, or I'm going to run, or I'm going to walk home. And well, yeah, we're literally poisoning ourselves, and we're just using our actual motivation to move more as an excuse to eat crap. And that's where a lot of other issues come along later in life, because there is a time when you get older, and I think it started for me about after I hit 35 years old, where I started just naturally slowing down, and I just wasn't as inclined to get out and do as much. I just didn't want to be as active at that time. And then it just gets slower and slower and slower as we get old. And then I started up to 435 pounds, and it took years. So it's going to take time to go back the other way. I mean, I shouldn't expect it to happen automatically. The quickest weight loss is water weight. You kick out the water weight, you're naturally going to move more. You're naturally going to start to become healthier, as long as you're paying attention to your ingredients, what you're eating, and just the simple stuff. I mean, we all know what sugar does to people. We all know, we should all know by now, and just how much sugar it's in all these random products. I mean, we can't even hardly find a sauce today that doesn't have high fructose corn syrup here in the United States. It's absolute nonsense. I mean, if you're going to buy something like barbecue sauce, let's just say that, go for the real sugar. If you can find barbecue sauce that's got real sugar in it, I would be more likely to consume that sugar than I will high fructose corn syrup any given day of the week. High fructose corn syrup should be illegal. Corn syrup being used as an ingredient in any children's products, it's just sugar. Corn is just sugar all by itself. I mean, we turn it into ethanol. We can fire vehicles with it. So let's eat it some more. Red Rome team member. Let's see. I drink water and have the occasional cup of coffee. I did remove coffee out of my diet for a couple of weeks. It was a little bit rough. I mean, because I'm just used to waking up in the morning and drinking coffee. I don't even know if my wife noticed that I wasn't drinking coffee in the morning. But yeah, I went for a period of time with no coffee just to see, okay, well, taking out coffee for an extended period of time, and 5 days is usually enough to figure this stuff out. But I went for a little bit longer than 5 days just to see, okay, is this going to change anything? Is it going to make me feel different when I put it back in? And I really didn't experience anything there. So I wasn't too upset about that. Yes. Alcohol. The funny thing about alcohol is, when I started researching that years ago, is that alcohol will literally kill every cell in the human body. I mean, especially if you ingested enough. I mean, I had a pretty good friend years ago. He went in the hospital because his pancreas was shutting down. He's an alcoholic. Go figure. We tried to talk some sense into him. I'm sure he's back to drinking now, but at some point he's gonna most likely suffer a very painful death, because he's already has these underlying issues, and the damage has been done to his pancreas, most likely been done to his liver now. So trying to reverse that process, I don't even think you could reverse that with just eating meats, because yeah, he's got a lot of situations going on there. High fructose corn syrup contains mercury. Ooh, there's a great idea to stay away from. Yeah, you don't want to be choking on mercury. Let's see. Yes, alcohol is literally poison. That's why people get hangovers. Yeah, I didn't like the hangovers, and if I were to drink now, I'd probably be screwed up for like not unfunctional, but just like I wouldn't feel right for at least 2 to 3 days if I were to consume alcohol at this point in my life. It just doesn't make me feel well. Donna's got a link down there, Reuters.com article, us me. What's that link about, Donna? It's most likely about high fructose corn syrup, I'm guessing. I gotta scroll on up here, but the thing is that with all these people coming out here, to people like me, to people like Carnivore Kip, and then Amanda. I heard Amanda. I saw her community post a while back. She's another carnivore here on the platform that talks about her experience with everything and how it's going. And none of our journeys are perfect. I mean, we're talking about what we're learning as we learn it, and we just try to share the experience as we apply it naturally. And she must have run into a lot of hate comments on her feed, and some people take these comments way worse than other people. I don't care. I did at first when I first started my weight loss journey, and people were saying things about me, because I was talking about health stuff, and I was really, really fat when I was talking about fasting and stuff like that. People were pointing out like, hey, I'm a fat man talking about health things. Like, why should they listen to me? And then my rebuttal to that, which I waited a period of time, I waited about 2 days before I responded to that person. Because at that time I was morbidly obese. I was incredibly hormonal. So you could have said anything to me and I would have been upset about it. You could have said something like cheese tastes like crap and I would have been upset about it. That's how hormonal I was. So I took a couple days to, reflect on what that person said. And I was like, I'm looking around at all the other carnivores at that time. Actually, no, this was before the carnivores. I was looking at everybody else that was wrapped around the weight loss community. And I came to the conclusion, I'm like, you know what? 90% of the people here, they didn't start talking about health, nutrition, weight loss, exercise, all of that stuff until they started losing weight. Once they started realizing and having the awakening that takes place in your brain, they got out here and they also use this as a tool like I do. I come out here and I talk about this stuff. This keeps me away from the food bowl. It keeps me out of the snacks. It keeps me out of the pantry. So the more I learn, the more I research, and the more I share what I'm doing, keeps me on track. Just like all these other influencers out here that are talking about health, nutrition. I don't care if they're vegans or vegetarians or carnivores or omnivores or whatever they're doing. The keto crowd, they're all the same. We're all the same. We're just talking about how this particular strategy works for us. And they're sharing that with people. They're giving us multiple opportunities to eat different, eat healthier, do amazing things with our lives. And it's loving. It's a huge community because we don't want everybody to be sick. I don't want you guys to be suffering, after eating a bunch of sugar. I don't want people to be suffering alcoholics when there's other alternatives out there to make you feel much better, by the way, than just running out and drinking alcohol. Because for a period of time, I was just out drinking alcohol just to chase women around. I mean, it was just one of those things I did for years. But then you get older. You want to settle down. You want to find a nice wife. The first one didn't work out. No big deal. So I had a second try. And this one's been great. My recent wife has been the most amazing wife I've ever had. I mean, if you were to look up like the definition of wife, that's my current wife right now. I mean, I cannot say enough about her. Yeah, she crosses all the T's and dots all the I's and makes sure that everything is got an exclamation point at the end. And she really does follow through with everything you would imagine. And the hardest part for me was trying to be that husband that could follow through at the same. So I had to step up my game a little bit. I got incredibly out of shape. I was overweight, better for worse, sicker or poorer. Me and her have been there. We're done the roller coaster of marriage, and we're making it. We're making it work. And this wouldn't be possible without everything that I'm doing right now, the weight loss and stuff like that. She'd still be there, but chances are right now, if I never got help with my sleep apnea, getting CPAP, getting treated, if I never started fasting and losing weight and getting to this point, absolutely, I would be 6 feet under. I mean, she would have buried me by now and I'd be gone. Let's see, like attending AA meetings. by having streams and making videos. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this is healthy conversation for me. It gets a lot off my mind. Like we started out talking about Carnivore Kip in this stream, and it was, I feel for the man. I'm an empath. I feel what's going on in his situation, and trying to be a carnivore or trying to be anything, strict in a household with people that do other stuff besides what you're doing. It's extremely hard because the temptations are just overwhelming at times. It's just absolutely crazy. But yeah, man, I got some natural lighting here. So I got my screen over here, and I got some natural sunshine coming in through the window over there. It just makes it look amazing in here. And yeah, that's my outside window. And I got Mr. Carnivore Kip's channel up here. If you don't know who he is, you can go check him out, Carnivore Kip. He does talk a lot about carnivore topics, and I was trying to reach out to him a little bit with today's live stream to hopefully, maybe give him a little bit of motivation. It's like, hey, way to go, man. You're being honest with your community about telling people you went off the rails. And that's hard. That takes a big man. Go figure, big man Alaska. I talk about that stuff too. I'm okay with it because once in a while I go off the rails too. But that's all part of the journey. And it's all part of the journey about getting back on the rails too. So through our journeys, we can talk about how we dealt with getting off the rails to getting back on the rails. But it's hard to get back on the rails when you went really way far off track, like I did there when I quit smoking. I did not care what I ate for like a week, and I gained about 25 pounds. A lot of that was water weight, but it happens. It happens. And this is how the roller coaster, we're just doing this. Lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight. It sucks. But we know how to do it now. And that's what I hope, Carnivore Kip gets out of this if he happens to stumble across this live stream. It's the fact that we know what we're doing now. We know how to get started. We know how to make some dramatic improvements pretty quickly if we want to. And I suffered too for a period of time where I lost the oomph, to want to keep making videos. I did not want to keep making videos because I wasn't doing amazing anymore. I wasn't that amazing guy that lost 100 pounds in 15 weeks. And I have that video down in my description section, by the way. It's in my playlist, Losing Weight in Alaska. That was a good video. It's got like 25,000 views. That was a good one. But, you do amazing for a while and you just expect rock star videos. You expect good performance. You expect a lot of following, and it doesn't come. And when you're morbidly obese and you're not seeing the numbers you want to see on the scale, you're not seeing the number of views you're expecting to see, after the amount of effort you put into creating a video, you're not seeing your subscribers tick up. You're not seeing likes on your videos or interactions in your comment section. It kind of screws us up in the head a little bit. And that's all part of being on YouTube. It's all part of losing weight in general. And it's a roller coaster of emotions that tend to distract us and slow us down at times, especially when we're trying to, be more connected with people and help others. And through helping others, we're actually helping ourselves at the same time. So it's just part of the journey. Just keep doing what you're doing and keep God, Jesus first. Absolutely there. 615 drop. Yeah, if it wasn't for God and Jesus, I don't think I would be here right now because, I was praying to die. I mean, true story. I was laying in this bed over that way. It's not far away. I was laying there just saying, God, please take me. I am done with this. I'm tired of hurting because I hurt all the time. I had so much pain I didn't even know I had. I was so used to the pain of being morbidly obese. If you're morbidly obese, you know what I'm talking about. You got a lot of pain right now, and you've been dealing with it for months, if not years. Some people, 5, maybe 10 years, you're dealing with the pain, the chronic neck issues, the back issues, the joints, the hands, the feet. Nothing feels right. But once you start losing weight, you start getting new pains. And that's what I'm here to talk about. You start getting new pains when you start losing weight because your body's not used to being lighter. So you're going to get different pains, which makes it harder to want to continue to lose weight. Because I had different types of pains work all the way up through my feet into my knees and my hips and my back and my neck. My neck was the last thing to actually start feeling some relief. And that didn't start feeling the ultimate relief until the last 3 months, maybe, where I noticed that I don't have that that horrible neck pain, or that it's like a pinched nerve kind of feeling in the back of my neck. Because when you're morbidly obese, your head is swollen, your brain is swollen. It's called inflammation. It's called water retention. And my head was like this much bigger. And just imagine that I can't even reproduce what my face looked like. It was so big. It's incredible. But yeah, I'm sitting here at the computer today, so I might be able to pull up a picture of what I used to look like. I'm pretty sure I have, if anything would agree with me here, I have some progress photos. That's not it. Where am I looking for? Save pictures. Maybe it's in there. Trying to find my files. What in the world? Okay. Where did I put my camera roll stuff? There we go. It's right in front of me. There's my progress. Let's see what we got here. So yeah, when I first started the weight loss journey, I was huge. I mean, I was a big frickin' whomping melon head there. But this was one of my first videos that I was doing when I was out and about. That's a big guy there. I mean, wow. What a fat face. I mean, look at that. What a difference compared to what I am now. I mean, yeah. And then my fat no shirt photos. Let's see here. Oh, there you go. You know, that's what I look like. And now I don't look like that anymore. And this is only 50 weeks, guys. This is 50 weeks. So then when I was in a fasted state, this is what I look like. This is one of my favorite photos. I use this a lot. But this is what I look like now. Actually, I look a little bit heavier now since I started the carnivore diet. So this is more realistic of what I'm looking like now. But it's not dramatically worse, is my thing. So, I mean, this stuff does work. But this picture over here, I need to make mention that this was me in a fasted state. So that's what you look like after you've done a lot of extended fasting. We're talking like 5-day water fast, 5-day sardine fast, 5-day egg fast, 24-hour fasting, 36-hour fasting. You know, that's the difference that I got in very short period of time from this big guy over here. I mean, that's the difference right there. And that happened, that change happened. I went from that guy to that skinny guy in 15 weeks. I mean, 15 weeks. That was my 15-week photo. Come on. Right there, 15 weeks. Can you do stuff for 15 weeks? I mean, that's incredible. You know, in my opinion, that's absolutely incredible that happened. You know, that's me. So yeah, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to talk about it with people. You know, I'm going to share that journey. I'm going to try to let people know 15 weeks, you can look like that. Just boom. All of a sudden I'm physically able to tie my shoes. I can do stuff now. I can go hang out. You know, I can make more responsible choices when I'm out to eat. In 15 weeks. I mean, it's just incredible. Yeah, total difference there. I mean, just amazing. I should have done this before. I had this kind of set up here so I can show people, because it's really hard to wrap your head around. Okay, this guy's talking to me. He doesn't look, I don't feel like I look that bad now. I'm still a big guy. I'm still pretty overweight. I'm over 300 pounds. But I'm getting closer to being successfully under 300 pounds. And now we're in springtime. And I believe that when summer kicks off, that next 20 pounds, the next 15 pounds, that gets me well under 300 pounds, it's going to start coming off when the temperature starts coming up. You know, even if I am sitting and driving a truck and I'm not doing a whole lot of physical activity, I believe that first 15 or 20 pounds is going to come off within the next 2 months. So that'll be an additional improvement to that. Now, since this has all started, my weight loss journey has started, I've been lifting more weights. I've been actually, you know, utilizing this Life Pro vibration plate over here for my edema, and it's helping with my balance. It also motivates me to want to get out and move more. You know, like they say, get out, move more, eat less. Well, I'm not on that bandwagon of move more, eat less crap, because when you're morbidly obese and you're starting a weight loss journey, that is the worst mindset you can give a morbidly obese person is eat less, move more, lose weight. because there's a lot of stuff going on. Our body is going through, a traumatic change. Now, a lot of these people that are talking about the eat less, move more movement, they started out morbidly obese, and then now they're talking, things I wish I knew, before I started losing weight. There's a reason you didn't know those things before you started losing weight. It's because your body has to actually mentally adapt, let alone physically adapt to the transformation you're about to put it through. So eating less and moving more is something that came naturally with the first amount of weight loss. So like for me, as you saw with those photos right there, the first 100 pounds of weight loss came off within 15 weeks. Now I can naturally start moving more. Now I can naturally start counting calories. I can eat less, move more technically, and have some greater benefits. But doing it in the opposite order, I don't think that's great advice to be given everybody. Because when you take a really fat, like 430 pound guy like I was, and if I were to go out and just start walking every day, and I tried that for a period of time because I was on the eat less, move more mindset for a little while, I was injuring myself. That was screwing me up. It was injuring my body. It was putting me out of work. I had a whole lot of situations going on that was just confusing. I couldn't make sense of it. So I had to figure out how to make sense of it, how to get enough weight off my body so I could go out and walk and move more. I can go out for like 2 to 3 mile walks now. I can hike up mountains now, and I'm only 50 weeks into this weight loss journey. And then when I was eating a vegetable-based diet, I was always out of breath, like really out of breath. Like if I were to do anything, I'd be like I was having an asthma attack. And some of the vegetables I was eating at the time were actually causing inflammation in my lungs, triggering the asthma attack. So not only was I probably having high fructose corn syrup and other sugars and stuff like that related to inflammation and chronic asthma, just by getting rid of that stuff, I can naturally breathe now when I walk up the hill. My sleep apnea has dropped tremendously. And I just went rounds with Philips Respironics this morning trying to get one of my other machines replaced from the recall. And they have been nothing more than a freaking headache. They have made everything so complicated. So if you're trying to still get your CPAP replaced, yeah, there's some more new hurdles that I had to jump through today. And I wasn't very impressed. I did tell them my opinion on this. I said, it shouldn't be this hard because I have to give them the same information about 22 different times. Even in the same conversation, I have to give them the same information. I was like, you have it right there on your screen, and you want me to just constantly repeat it and constantly repeat it after I've already said it to you 3 times. You want me to repeat the information you're already looking at. I'm not sure what the point of that is. Let's see. What's your current weight? Right around 305 is my current weight. I have been down below 300 pounds in this weight loss journey about 2 to 3 times now, but that is my fasted weight. And I have to remember that. That's what keeps my mind working, is understanding that when I achieve those under 300 pound weight loss goals, and that is a goal because 300 pounds is technically, for me at my height, is technically considered morbidly obese. So I'm right on the border of being morbidly obese and regular obese. But that's according to the BMI index chart, and that's really that chart really doesn't mean a whole lot. It just gives us basic reference points. That's all that chart's good for, is basic reference points. It doesn't give us indication of health, because I could be 235 pounds and completely unhealthy, but I'd be a lot lighter. I mean, it's that simple. You can be lightweight. You can be a small person, very petite person, and be extremely unhealthy. And that's one thing we're learning throughout this process of losing weight, learning nutrition, trying to figure out how to read ingredients and sort through all the bull crap that we've been fed for the last 30, 40 years. But yeah, if you wrap your mindset around your fasting weight, so if you do an extended fast, like a 5-day water fast, you're going to lose X, Y, and Z for numbers. Well, you got to remember, as soon as you add food, as soon as you change anything about anything, after you start eating food again, your weight's going to come up. It's going to come up anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds at times. So I had a week where I lost, I believe it was 7 to 8 pounds when I did a fast. And as soon as I ate my first meal, that weight automatically goes up 5 pounds, because your body's going to start retaining water to digest the food you might have just eaten. or to metabolize things differently, because everything works in a harmonious balance in our body, and water is just one of the aspects. So got to consider water, electrolytes. If we're missing some sort of vitamin, for instance, that's what my current blood work when I went for my neuropathy appointment is going to try to hopefully help me figure out, is that if I have apparently there's some vitamins that you can be deficient in, and it could actually promote neuropathy type symptoms. So if those levels are low, and that's what we specifically did a blood panel on yesterday, and I haven't gotten the results back, but if those vitamins are low, I can take supplements while doing the carnivore diet and then improve. I could hopefully improve a lot of my neuropathy. Now they did this weird little experiment where they stick a freaking needle. A needle like in your muscle. They stick it in your muscle, and then it's hooked up to a little probe, and you got to like move around, and they're listening for the sound of your muscle. That's like scratching your nail on a chalkboard to me. And I told him that as he was doing that, I had to look away when he was just, and then just wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And I was like, that's not what I want to do, man. That's the last thing I want to do. I want to break your computer. But that's kind of how I felt when I was going through that. But apparently the sound of the muscle can tell them, like the actual audible sound of the muscle can tell them if there's something wrong with your leg or the muscle growth or something like that. Like it can tell you if you got MS or, potential other autoimmune type issues. I am weird for want to know what it feels like. I don't know. Some antidepressants can help with neuropathy off label. Yeah, I would not be taking any antidepressants anytime soon. B1, B12 particular, carnivore is awesome. I do like it. I appreciate carnivore because it just seems to work so well for me. Especially when I get those binge eating type situations I get in. I get in those quite a bit where I just want to eat a lot of food today, and that's all I want to do is eat a lot of food. And then like today, I'm not even in that mood. I don't think I had a Chomps beef stick today. That's what I've had so far today. I was so riled up about Carnivore Kip today. I mean, it was like, oh, this poor guy. And there's backstage type conversations that happen about all of us in between the channels. Like, hey, you see so-and-so, they're doing this or that. We communicate, through email, sometimes text messages. And I really don't try to jump on the bandwagon of trash talking other people in the community or trying to make really harsh opinions. Because when I first started this weight loss journey, I was new to YouTube. My brain was screwed up because I was so overweight. It was swollen. I had a huge brain fog. It was hard for me to communicate, let alone I never imagined I'd ever be wanting to do a live stream for hours on end and talk to people just nonstop. And now that's all I want to do. I love these little live streams because I can connect with people. I can talk with the community, and we can have kind of like this instant interaction as long as I'm paying attention to this little tiny spot down here that I can see the comments. But sometimes there's a lot of comments that just roll through and I never see them. But I mean, it's hard when you're out here trying to make content on the internet, and then you see all these other people, and it's like what Kip was experiencing today. He saw all these other people that were just, they show signs of perfection. That's one thing I don't care about. I don't care if I look perfect. It's nice, by the way. It's nice to look like you did something amazing. You did something perfect. But I really don't focus on looking perfect, because where I relate to people is that we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. I'm not going to claim to be perfect. I might have some perfect weeks. But when you break a week down into a year, it's kind of similar to a day, and that moment comes and it goes and it fades away very quickly for us. So, I mean, whatever. Let's see. Don't need meds to reverse neuropathy. Carnivore diet helped me get rid of it in my legs and feet. I no longer suffer from it. That's Donna. Plain Bubble. I am from Anchorage, Alaska, and I literally do these live streams from usually in my 1975 mobile home. And I'm just an average guy, guys. I mean, I drive used cars. I don't have nothing fancy going on. We don't make a bunch of money on YouTube. I just come out here and try to share, what's going on with me, how I'm losing weight, how I figured out how to lose weight before, because I am not 100% strict on just talking about carnivore topics. I talk about a little bit of everything. You know, fasting can relate to anybody trying to lose weight. I mean, if we're trying to lose weight or just let alone get our health, our little bit better health, I mean, that's what we're out for. Camden Webster's from the UK. What vape you got? This one here is called Lost Vape. Centauros. So this is the Lost Vape, and I have the I can't even remember what name of the tank, the Zeus tank on it. I mean, it helps. It keeps me from smoking cigarettes. That's for sure. That's the main reason I use vaping products. It's almost comparable to buying cigarettes over time. It's just, you got so much going on here. You got the batteries, you got the charger, you got the tanks, you got to buy the coils, you got to buy juice. It's an additional headache that I want to remedy at some point in this journey, but I'm not going to do it right now. It might be in the next 2 years. I might actually get this vaping taken care of, and I won't be using any nicotine products at all. But we're going to have to see how that goes from here, because right now these are helpful. These help me not want to hurt people. Okay. Anyways, getting late here. Hey, I appreciate you there, Shaping Fred. And you take care as well. Let's see the fat cloud. Does your vape contain? No, it does not contain that. It does not. It's just propylene glycol. Yeah, the normal stuff. It doesn't contain a bunch of trash. We don't use that stuff. We don't like that stuff. But the one thing I learned about, because when vaping started, I was a big concerned person around the vaping community. So we were a part of a big community up here in Alaska that was wanting to know more about the safety of vaping, safety of vaping products, the safety of the juice, manufacturers of the juice, specific things like food colorings and such like that. It is not safe to vape anything with food coloring, by the way. Now, it should, a good steeped vape should have this a darker kind of color, but it shouldn't be yellow. It shouldn't be pink. It shouldn't be red. It shouldn't be green. It shouldn't be any type of neon color. All of those food colorings and stuff like that are carcinogenic when heated up. Oh, go figure. Food colorings, when heated, become a carcinogenic. I wonder why there's so much cancer in the world. Like what's in all of our food? Like a lot of the food. Like we got a lot of what is it called? Takis, for instance. That's one of them that comes to mind. Now, my son used to love those things. They're colored really bright red, all different types of colors. And the food coloring that they use is carcinogenic food coloring. It's like just trying to get that point across, because these children are addicted to the color and they associate the bright colors with flavor now. So if you take away the bright color, they're not going to associate the flavor of that particular packaging without bright colors that attract them. Vaping and lung issues. Yeah, I was there throughout the whole transition of everything happening around the vaping and the nonsense and all the political aspects. And the majority of the information that's out there on Google right now, it's all provided by the big tobacco corporations. There's the independent studies that we had done, and we had independent studies done of our own where we sent products out. We tried to figure out a whole lot of the aspects, like what wire that we use for the coils was safe to use, what types of cottons. We spent a couple of years researching this stuff. And then these other third-party people like Big Tobacco, they wanted to prove that there was all kinds of nasty stuff in here, sometimes in the juice, and they wanted to prove that there was nasty stuff in the cottons and the vaping altogether, but they didn't break down the actual process of how they found that information out. So if I take this vape here and I hold it for a period of time, that is a normal hit. Okay, where they got the majority of their unhealthy type information out was when you hold this button down, it creates this coil in here to heat up. You overheat this coil, yeah, it's going to create a carcinogen. You overheat the cotton, it's going to create carcinogenic properties from the cotton. There's going to be a whole lot of problems. You're not supposed to overheat the juice. You're not supposed to leave the juice out in the sunshine, just like any prescription medication. You don't want it out in direct sunlight because it'll turn the juice to poison. And if you overheat the coils and the cotton, it's going to turn that into poison as well. And that's where they got 90% of their really bad data. And they never shared that part. That's the frustrating part around vaping science, and that vaping, and there's a reason why vaping is still allowed, because if it was really that bad for you, yeah, they would have put a kibosh to it and it would have been completely wiped out. Let's see. It's all smoking cigarettes. What gives you issues? I'm not a big fan of smoking cigarettes, even though I still crave them. Like within the last week. Now, I haven't had cigarettes in a while, a long time now. I was actually craving a cigarette the other day. I was like, man, it would be nice just to have one cigarette. But then, the one cigarette turns into a pack of cigarettes, turns into a carton of cigarettes. It turns into a couple months of smoking. I don't want to go back down that route. I don't want to burn my seats. I don't want to make my car stink. Yeah, I'm just tired of it all. There's a lot that I don't like about smoking tobacco products, because there's a whole lot going on there. With vaping, you might get a little bit of juice on your clothing at times, or yeah, there's not a whole lot of issues going on there. It is absolutely gorgeous out here. That's my entryway behind me. There's so much sun out there. Let's see if I can get the lighting right. There we go. Maybe my dog wants to go out. Hey, you want to go outside? You need to go potty? Let's go. Go on. There you go. Come right back. Almost all the snow has gone out of my yard, guys. I'm so happy. We were out here yesterday. I was sweeping off my driveway, which is something I wouldn't have done 50 weeks ago. I just would have been too lazy. I'd be just inside not doing anything. But yesterday I spent a lot of time outside cleaning up. The wife got out. She cleaned up the Jeep. She got a whole bunch of crap out of her Jeep. I'm kind of hungry, but I don't really want to cook anything. You ever have one of those moments? I mean, I got some pickled eggs. I can get into pickled eggs. That'd be safe. But I'm really not like, I want to make a steak or I want to make a bunch of burgers. So I think I'm going to dive into these pickled eggs. Okay. Got to get my extractor device, because whenever you get into pickled eggs, you need an extractor device. You can't just reach your hands in there. I'll grab a cloth, because you always get a little bit of vinegar on stuff. That's just kind of how this works. But these are pickled eggs I did in a video quite a while ago. I don't know if I made these on a live stream or what I did. But they've been sitting in the fridge for a really long time, and they're so freaking good. See here. Clumsy guy. It's okay. It's the internet. It's fun. Oh, it smells so good. Yeah, we're definitely going to scoop out one of these bad boys. Come here. A little friendly. I got all kinds of spices and stuff in the jar. All right. You're going to take a bite of this bad boy, because these are ketosis friendly, by the way, as long as you don't have a bunch of sugar added in your pickle juice. You can eat like 20 of these in a day and you'll still be in ketosis. You'll still be losing weight. These are good. Yeah, those have been in there for a long time. Yep. Super healthy snack. Pickled eggs. And you can make this yourself. I mean, you don't just boil some freaking eggs, get a pickle jar, and you don't even have to make your own brine. You can use the brine from a previous bunch of pickles, and you can have some amazing pickled eggs in 7 days. And I would leave them in there for 7 days, because the longer you leave your eggs or anything you're pickling in the juice, the better it's going to be. So healthy. And it's also been one of the tools that I used when I was doing a lot of fasting. So if I was doing an extended fast for a period of time, and then I wasn't able to feel like I was mentally prepared to extend that fast exactly as far as I wanted it to, and I just felt like I needed something to eat or maybe balance out, because sometimes when you're fasting, you feel like you might be deficient in some area and you might need to cover your bases, because your vitamins and electrolytes don't always cover everything you might need, especially when you're doing a long fast. And sometimes you can cure that, with the nutrition that comes inside eggs or a can of sardines. So those are my two go-to items if I'm doing an extended fast, that if I really feel like something's off, or I need something a little bit extra and electrolytes aren't fixing it, I'll go to hard-boiled eggs or a can of sardines. And that usually fixes everything right there. Something new I've been using as well is smoked oysters. They seem to help a lot with feeling, like something's missing while I'm doing a fast. And obviously something's missing when you're doing a 5-day fast. You're missing food. So yeah, there's a lot of things that could happen there, and your emotions and everything changes as you go throughout these long extended fasting periods. Let's see what's going on here. If you want to stop smoking, just stop smoking. Vaping will keep you going. Yeah, I just use vaping as a tool for right now. It is something that I do want to give up in time. It's a frustrating process of being addicted to anything, for that matter. Even sugar. Sugar was hard enough to get controlled. Like I said, lettuce triggers a sugar craving. So I mean, it's just so crazy. Even now that I recognize that if I eat lettuce, I'm going to have a sugar craving. I'm going to want to eat, some sugary snacks shortly after that. And I always thought of lettuce as being like the, one of those things you could eat and nobody'd ever have an issue with it. But yeah, lo and behold, I mean, I had no idea. I don't even know why it would do that, why it would give me sugar cravings, but it does. I'm jealous, Donna. You had a ribeye? Right now, I'm not fasting, John, but I've done a lot of fasting in order to lose weight. And learning how to fast was how I learned how to eat correctly. Because when you're morbidly obese, you're always, it seems like you're always perpetually snacking, and you feel you're always eating. I was always trying to figure out my next meal. Then when I wasn't eating, I was wanting to snack. And then when I wasn't snacking, I was looking at my next meal again. So when I started learning how to fast, I realized I didn't require all that extra food. I was like, I went for a whole 5 days, which seemed absolutely bonkers to me. It seemed bonkers to my family. Most people that are hearing my voice right now that have never done a 5-day water fast are probably thinking like, well, you are freaking nuts. You went 5 days with no food. Most people can't even go 30 minutes without food. They either need a piece of chewing gum or something with calories to drink. And once I got rid of all of that, just cutting out calorie drinks lost me a lot of weight. And before that, I was just cutting out high fructose corn syrup type drinks, and I was losing a lot of weight. But I wasn't able to keep it off because I wasn't solving the issue. I was just getting rid of high fructose corn syrup, but then I was taking in a bunch of other sugary type stuffs and stuff that had other, random overly processed ingredients in there that was just slowing down, if not just completely deleting any weight loss I had for the day. It might have some sort of seed oil in there, and soybean oil, vegetable oil, all that kind of stuff there slows you down. It slows you down. Natural fats like tallow and, bacon fat, even avocado oil and stuff like that. Our body can do stuff with that type of stuff. It doesn't do anything with soybean oil. It just, okay, I don't know what to do with you. So, but the natural fats, the ones that we were told not to have, the ones that they said would give us a heart attack, our body knows how to process those. So sometimes we use that as energy. That's where the carnivore diet comes in. So if you're, fat adaptive, whatever that is, fat adaptive, it just means you're burning the fat from the foods you're eating, and you're burning the fat, from your own body because you're in perpetual ketosis. And that was something that we were talking about at my neuropathy appointment. Because he wanted to make sure, I wasn't missing out on certain other vitamins that I might be, needing, because my previous blood panel before the neuropathy appointment didn't cover some specific information that we wanted to find out. And hopefully I'll have that information here within either today or tomorrow, or before this weekend's weight loss update. I don't believe I've actually lost any weight for a period of time, and I'm not worried about it anymore. I just feel so much better, being healthy. I'm 300 pounds, and when I go to the doctor, they're like, "Man, you're really healthy." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I feel great." It's like, "Hey, how do you feel?" People ask me that all the time. When they see me, my close friends that used to know me when I was extremely fat and overweight, they see me now, and they're like, "Oh, you lost a lot of weight. You're just disappearing. How do you feel?" Well, it's not that I'm lighter. I just feel healthy now. I mean, I feel so much healthier than I was, 50 weeks ago. I mean, it's just incredible how fast, things change. Oh, these are so good, by the way. Have any of you tried these? Now, I'm going to try to find some better ones. I just haven't gone through all of these yet. I'm not going to go shopping for some better ones until these are gone. But smoked oysters, man, these are delicious. These are really delicious, by the way. If you can handle seafood, if you like clams, these kind of hit the spot, similar to clams. They're just not breaded. They definitely don't look as pretty, but I mean, what's a clam? I mean, a clam's like a little booger in a shell, kind of like an oyster. But these are pretty good. I mean, they're packed in olive oil. There's not a whole lot of extra nonsense wrapped up in these smoked oysters. And they work really good. There's a lot of vitamins and nutrients and stuff like that in these smoked oysters that work really well. And I got a little freaked out when I first looked at these because they get a little green, and it's not a big deal. I mean, it even says so on the package. They talk about it. Don't worry about it. No off flavor, no fishy smell to these at all. And they're a really nice meaty bite, and they have a little bit of overtone of a smoked flavor. And yeah, packed in olive oil is a winning situation there. They just taste good. They digest really well. They don't give you that upset tummy type feeling. If anything, they make you feel healthy when you're done eating them. But yeah, Crown Prince. Now these are the ones I got at Costco. These here. You can buy a whole. They come in a bigger pack, so there's a bunch in there. I just haven't gone through them all. Let's see, where do these even come from? So it does have a warning label on it. Watch out for little bitty shell fragments. You might find a present in there, so don't bite into them too hard. I didn't even think of that. So the ingredients on these are smoked oysters, mollusk, olive oil, salt, and they're imported by Crown Prince Industries, California. It says product of China. So if anybody gets red flags from anything from China, then that's your opinion. Whatever. I don't worry about it too much. There are some things I don't like from China because they don't have the same safety standards over there, and that's the only reason. There's some things I do avoid. But when it comes to their food type items like this, I'm not overly concerned about that. Okay. Our oysters are responsibly raised and harvested in the coastal waters of the Yellow Sea, freshly shucked, smoked over oak, and hand packed in Spanish olive oil. It's pretty good. Let's see. Contains 1,695 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids. That's a good amount right there. So if you're looking for your omega-3s, yeah, this is a great option to cover your omega-3s. I get my omega-3s with stuff like this. I also get it with sardines and fish oil capsules. That's just another way. Besides that, eating fish, go figure. But yeah. Now, there has been a lot of science around indicators of heart attack and heart attack survivors. And those people that have a higher omega-3 are less likely to have heart attacks, or less likely to pass away if they do have a heart attack. One or the other. You'll have to research that for yourself. But I thought that was incredibly interesting because they use a lot of health markers, to judge heart attacks and health situations, similar to the cholesterol, the LDL, those type of numbers. And they're just markers that are commonly found at the event of, some serious issues, like heart attacks or strokes. So that's what they're looking for. So they also look for, survival type markers as well. And the ones that are surviving are the ones that have plenty of, omega-3s. So that's good news. You might want to up your intake of omega-3s if you're not feeling well and you're out of shape. It's not going to hurt anything. Might not be the most yummy thing. Adding a little bit of salt on these might not be too bad. But they taste good. But I'm Alaskan native too. We eat stuff like muktuk and whale and seal oil, and, whatever. Now my wife likes to go out and hunt for grouse, so we get a couple different type of grouse that come through the house, and they taste different. We got spruce hens, and then we got rough grouse, and the rough grouse tastes really good. By the way, they taste really good compared to the spruce hens. All right. That's it for that. We're going to give this to a dog. Nice, healthy little snack. Now, another item that I like to find, and every time I go to the store and I see other people picking up these, I just kind of give a little, these are good. Chomps. Super good, super healthy option for people on the go. Now, these are a little expensive up here in Alaska. These are in the lower 48, I think there was told these were approximately $1 per beef stick, which isn't bad when you consider that they're super healthy, zero sugar. There's not a whole bunch of bull crap inside these. These are carnivore friendly. These are basically anybody friendly that likes to eat beef jerky and stuff like that without a whole lot of extra added ingredients. So, I mean, there's a lot of quality in here. So you're paying like $1 per item in the lower 48. Up here in Alaska, it's closer to $1.25 per beef stick when you buy the bags. You get bags of these, and I don't chew through these right away. I save them for if I'm looking for a snack. If I'm having a carb craving, I'll have one of these. I'll just pull these out of the pantry and I'll eat one, but it doesn't give you that acidic type flavor that you would get from if you ever had a Slim Jim. And sometimes they got that little squirt, like a little pepperoni squirt, whatever the oils are. It does not give you that. It just tastes like meat. The casing is nice. Some people have a problem with casing, and the casing on here is really nice. But yeah, Chomps beef sticks are the way to go. Nutritional facts. It's got a lot of sodium. 380 milligrams. So if that's an issue, it could be. I don't worry about that anymore. But since I started the carnivore diet and I don't eat all that overly processed food in the center aisles, I don't worry much about salt anymore. I don't worry about sodium or anything like that, because this is about as processed as I get in most cases, unless I'm buying like a hot dog or a sausage. So right now, this is a Chomps beef stick. You can buy these at Costco. They're not too bad. Let's see, right now we're eating a Chomps beef stick. I did have I was eating homemade pickled eggs I did in a previous live stream or a video. Talked about them. And then the stuff in the can, those were smoked oysters. I was just getting hungry. I wasn't even planning on eating today or cooking anything. Like, I normally just make random nonsense in the kitchen. If you guys don't know, hey, watch me make mistakes in the kitchen and set the smoke alarm off, because that's fun. But it's 12:30 and we've been running this stream for about an hour and 39 minutes. For those of you that just dropped in here, I started out the live stream talking about a fellow carnivore in the community. He was Carnivore Kip. He was struggling, and it kind of, I felt his pain. I understand, what he's going through. I know his situation from my perspective, because I struggle too. I struggle a lot. There's a lot of stuff in this house, that could potentially trigger a disaster, when it comes to what I eat, and how I feel about going through the day. I think with a regular job, a steady working job, which is coming up soon, because once our construction season starts up and I'm back to work, I think it's going to be a lot easier for me to lose weight and stay on track when I know I have a set schedule throughout the day. Because we typically have our work hours, pretty much like clockwork, and we don't come home until after the gravel pit's closed. So, yeah, I do believe my weight loss should be a lot quicker this summer. And I'm looking forward to the next 15 or 20 pounds to come off. Because I think if I can get down around, 285 and sit around that weight for a while and not get back over 300 pounds, I'm going to be much happier with myself, because that's an accomplishment. Just trying to get below certain milestones. It's hard. And then it's frustrating when you get to that milestone and you realize that that's just your fasting weight. And then as soon as you eat food, you're going to bounce right back up over. And that screws up the mindset. So it makes it harder to continue or even want to. And that's where we bog down with our weight loss journey. We tend to start sliding backwards. We start to be a little bit more careless with the stuff we're eating, and we fall off the rails. Yeah, that's hard. And just learning all this stuff is the hardest part, I think. Figuring out the process, figuring out how we can better understand our own situation. But if we share it with others, like I'm doing here, I'm just sharing what I know, how I've been figuring it out. And hopefully, maybe we can save a couple more. Not everybody has to hurt. I mean, I can't just walk up to a fat person or a morbidly obese person and be like, hey, I know a few things. That just doesn't set well with most people. But sometimes in conversation, I have talked about, potential weight loss and stuff like that. And it's worked out well for some of those people. And they just kind of follow along, and they figured out their own way of losing weight, whether it's carnivore or not. The thing is they figured it out. They got started. They might have used a couple of my videos just to inspire a little bit of, I'll try that. That didn't sound so hard. You made it sound pretty easy. Like, look at you go, man. You're doing great. And the stuff that I do, it isn't hard. It doesn't take a genius. But a lot of it has to do with education. If we don't use our brain as our main tool, it's hard to understand what foods do what to us. And if we don't remove a lot of the foods right away, because most people's current situation is overly processed foods, a lot of junk foods, and eating out, unhealthy type stuff. So if we don't remove a lot of that type stuff, it's hard for anything to heal. I mean, it's hard for us to feel any different tomorrow if we just eat healthy for a day and then tomorrow we're just going to eat crap. So, I mean, how do you expect to see benefits? I mean, it's just like going out and having one day a week where you eat a salad. Well, okay, you might eat an okay meal for that time period, but what are you eating tomorrow? Is that salad going to benefit you in any way? In most cases, you're eating so many processed foods, that salad's just going to blow right out the other end. You're not going to even, you have so much inflammatory type products going in that you're not going to even absorb any of the nutrition from the meats or vegetables you're eating. So you could be eating healthy options, but something else could be reversing the health benefits of what the healthy option was. And this is what I'm out here to talk about and discuss, because some things just, they don't work well. It's just like medication doesn't work well with other medications. Go figure. And if we start looking at food like our medicine, yeah, we can start figuring out a lot of our issues. Now, granted, I don't like medicine. I've never have. I didn't like working for the pharmaceutical companies that were pushing all these pills. And it was just like they were out there to sell. Sell this product, sell this product, sell this pill. Give out these little informational pamphlets. With every pill that comes out nowadays, you got to listen to a laundry list of side effects. Just imagine if they had the side effects of what food did to you on all the packages. Your basic morning cereal, your oatmeal, or a little bit of candy or something like that, or even on your soda pop. Could you imagine if they had side effects on a can of Red Bull? Huh. Granted, most people would ignore it, just like they ignored the Surgeon General's recommendation on the side of a pack of cigarettes. And I think this vape juice here has some recommendations on it somewhere, but it's hard to see. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Actually, this one's in pretty big letters. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. Yeah, nicotine's in everything, guys. You can find it in fruit. You can find nicotine in peppers. All kinds of stuff has nicotine in it, so it's no surprise that people are addicted to nicotine. Go figure. I do not make my own jerky, mainly because the process of making the jerky requires a lot of time. When it's all said and done, it typically costs pretty close to the same price as it does to go buy it. So I don't, even though I have a dehydrator. I have an Insta Vortex Plus over here, which has a dehydration feature on it, and I might try some actual jerky. But the hard part for me is I need to get a good solid recipe for the brine that doesn't have any soy, doesn't use any seed oils or a whole lot of sugar, just to make it work for me. Now, if I was making the brine for somebody else, I'd be using like soy sauce. I'd probably adding a little bit of extra salt. I'd be using some brown sugar, maybe some molasses. That's just into the brine if the meat soaks in, before you start the jerky process. But it's a beautiful day outside. I need to get outside and do some stuff today. I might even grab the bicycle and go see if I can actually ride it. I haven't been on a bicycle in over 2 years. And the last time I was on that bicycle out there, I was actually a little bit heavier than what I am now. So, yeah, we're going to give that a shot today, maybe. Because the sun's out. It's a beautiful day. It's gorgeous here in Alaska, by the way. Oh, yeah, man, Mahani. Yeah, there's a ton of nicotine in food, if you didn't know that. There's a ton of stuff in food, by the way. I mean, some food has arsenic. I mean, you really got to research if you want to know. I mean, the information's out there. The internet provides a lot for us. But yeah, the pepper, like you can extract nicotine out of this pepper over here. And this is just regular pepper you put on your food. This says nicotine right here. You put enough of that on there, yep, you got nicotine, give you that little bump you're looking for. You might not even know you're looking for that bump. That might be why you're craving it. But pepper is a seed. It doesn't work with everybody's diet. So anyhow, guys, I just want to say I pray for anybody that's suffering with obesity issues, health type issues, diabetes, anything like that. We're going to be wrapping up this live stream. We're going to fumble on out of here. And I might even get my cat dressed and take her out for a little bit, because she's poised over here wanting to get outside. Well, yeah, weight loss doesn't have to be hard. The carnivore diet doesn't have to be overly complicated. Nobody's expecting anybody to be 100% perfect. Even other people that are creating content around the carnivore diet, we don't expect perfection, from anybody out there. It is nice to see. It's nice to hear those stories too. But yeah, we don't expect it, because everybody's weight loss journey is going to be a little bit different. My journey is going to be different than Carnivore Kip's, even though we're going to share a lot of the same issues. But overall, we just try to help each other out. We pray for one another. We give support when we can. So, all right, you guys, you take care. And I want to say God bless to all of you. And I pray for anybody that's having a problem right now. That's not the right button. The button's over here. There's a button. There it is.